Wait, is my mic working this time? Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Chronicle, where I'm going to try to make this quick because, as usual, I'm recording it later than I should have. Um, but we'll see how it goes. Did you just hear that notification? I saw the audio, I saw it move, so I think you just heard that notification, but I don't know what it sounded like. Anyway, is this the right light setting? It's supposed to be on warm, but I feel like it's kind of bright. Anyway, welcome back to the Chronicle. Goals. Something I realized last week, I forgot to talk about the big goal, you know what I'm saying? The overarching goal, the plot of my whole life, which was the lock-in goal and the career goal, which is riddled with question marks because I didn't know. I put a big old check mark on it because I completed those, technically. Um, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I guess we should start there. Because did we start with the goals that I did this week? Yeah. Um, That's a lot of talking though. So what was it? There was the goal to handstand. I am working on that. I think I'm getting closer. I still need to cook that second sweet potato. Um, I've done most of my piano catch up. Still not done the guitar catch up yet. I can't remember if I put another X on that for this week. I don't think I did. But piano catch up is mostly done. The liked playlist, haven't removed any more songs from that yet, but I need to do that. And then the other one that's like right, is it there, or is it there, or is it there? It might be off camera. I think it might actually be right here, just off camera. Nope, hold on, over. It's like up there. The resin goal, which was to take the little fragments of my Xbox controller, put them in resin, have it forever. My coworker, who I gave it to, who coincidentally I saw at the Renaissance Festival when I went yesterday, he was like, "I need more epoxy." I ordered it, so I'm probably gonna get it to you next week. I'm like, "Okay, all good." I didn't really care how long it took. It's technically worthless in terms of monetary gain. It's literally garbage that he's gonna be putting in resin for me. So I don't care how long it takes. And then, okay, yeah, so now to the overarching goals, which I already put on the stack. The lock-in goal and the career goal. So one thing I wondered, and I talked about this on the channel, was, the whole why don't I chase my dreams thing. And it's like, well, realistically, that's not as easy as it sounds. Well, you know what I did? I talked to my dad, and I talked to my mom, and I have now decided that I will be pursuing a degree in music at UMKC, which is the University of Missouri, Kansas City, if I'm remembering that correctly. I'm gonna go there next fall. I'm gonna move in with a couple of friends, hopefully. The one friend, she's not responding to me. I was like, hey, what about that apartment? And then she left me on red. And then she responded hours later and was like, oh, it didn't work because the move-in date. And I said, okay, what's the move-in date? Because I'm like, maybe it would work. And then she left me on red again. So I'm gonna ping her again. There we go. Yeah, so hopefully I will be in a nice apartment in a nice place at a hopefully affordable price, and I will be pursuing my dream of being a session musician while going to college for music. That's the plan. That's the plan right now. October 1st, that's when the FAFSA, which is the free financial aid, comes out. So I'm going to fill that form out. I got an email from UMKC saying there's this program that will lock your degree into 2 years. And I'm like, that's perfect. That's what I wanted from KU. And then they were stupid about it. So hopefully it'll just be 2 more years. I'll have my nice apartment life. I'll be in college full time, working part time. I'll have financial aid, and it'll all be great. But now she's not responding to me, and this is annoying because I don't know if she realizes how big of a deal this is to me. Because it's like I'm really trying to lock this down, and then she's leaving me on red for hours at a time, and it's annoying. So I'm like, maybe I should just get a studio apartment, a 1 bedroom, and it'll be really cheap. I don't know. I might look into it after this, honestly. Um, yeah, because she ain't responding to me. Anyway, yeah, that's the plan. That's the lock-in goal. That's the career goal. I'm going to try to become a session musician. And we're gonna see how it goes. And like I was super apprehensive. I was hesitant, and that's what I told my mom, and that's what she helped me work through. Is that I'm trying to think the plan all the way through, but I literally just can't. I can only Google so much stuff. I can only think it through so much before I have to just start doing things, which is what I'm learning very quickly now that I'm 20. Is you just got to that, and like that's what everyone says is like your 20s are for doing things, or I don't know. That's what everyone says in my head. I don't know if anyone actually has said that to me, but that's the vibe that I'm getting about being 20. is that you just have to start doing things, right? And I know this, I realize this. You can only you can only think it through so far before you just have to start doing things. Like with the boxing gym. I was like, I'm gonna go to this boxing gym. I want to try and become a fighter real quick. Just dip my toes in, see what it was like. And then I go there for 3 months, and it's like, yeah, you have to socialize. And I'm like, I didn't come to this boxing gym so that I could be all buddy buddy and nice to people. I want to punch people in the face, right? But it's like, no, you got to be social so you can do drills and sparring. It's like, mm-mm. And I did not want to be a boxer more than I wanted to not socialize with people. So I quit that. I still think about doing it now, but I only think about doing it now that I have something figured out. So it's kind of like whatever. But yeah, so I'm gonna try and do that, or I'm gonna try and do the music thing, and that'll hopefully be good. So that's the goals. All the continuous goals. I have been smelling my little oils that are just off camera here. And then I haven't been reading the Action Bible as much. I read it for like 30, 40 minutes today, which is a lot of fun. But like I haven't been doing it consistently. Practicing piano and guitar. I didn't do that this week. But as of today, goodness gracious, today I got a fourth piano practice in, which is that's all that I need for 1 week. And if I can just get my four guitar practices, I will then have four guitar practices and four piano practices, which is what I need, which is what I want. I need to, which is what I technically need to do every week. But that's grown increasingly hard as I've gotten older. So yeah, and then the handwriting. My handwriting books arrived. I have them. I have not started working on them yet, but I'll do that next week. It's a continuous goal, which I tend to neglect. Because what happens is I come home from work, I'm like, man, just got out the factory. I can't wait to have fun, right? But then it's like, once I start having fun, I forget to do the little daily things that I need to do. So I'm gonna hopefully do those more next week. I don't know if I want to put a goal on the wall for it. And then I also I have eaten a little bit more apple. That's not a goal that I have listed, but I want to try and eat a little bit of apple every day so that I can hopefully become not allergic and then eat apples again. Um, and I think that's all the goals. Yep. There is the winter goal, which is off camera, I'm pretty sure, to cook an apple over a fire and then eat it. But it's not wintertime yet, so I can't do that. The weather is cooling down a bit, though, which is nice. It is officially fall, even if it's 80 degrees and sunny most days. I don't know what's going on with my hair. Eh, eh. Okay. Journal time. I still have to make lunch for tomorrow, man. Gosh dang. Monday. I skipped the gym after work to focus on my instruments, and I kind of did that, but I also got caught up in a conversation with a couple of friends about moving in together, and my friend actually found a couple really nice places that are in our price range, so that could actually be super hype. I also realized today that I haven't been taking my creatine regularly, which might be why I've been getting tired in the evenings again. And the quote is, I wish I could meet someone as, and then I cut it off there. Yeah, so this Monday I started getting serious about moving in with my friends, and she did respond to me just now. I don't remember, it was too late, that's all they said to me that I read. What? So is that listing gone now? I don't know. I'll talk to her later. Yeah, and then I like to explain it. Yeah, so I did start getting more serious about moving in together, because we had talked about that but not made it official. And I'm like, hopefully, the plan with like moving in with three people total, counting myself, is that I want to try and get affordable rent. But the thing is that I want to live in a nice place, but I want to have affordable rent. Those two cannot coexist together. I live and I have affordable rent right now. It's great. I pay 600 at most months, right? Which is really good for a two bedroom. Um, and like the location is nice because it's nearby to a lot of stuff. It's not that far north, it's not that far south, Very central. There's a Target over there, there's an Aldi down there, there's a Walmart down there, right nearby to everything. The theater's just over there. But it's kind of it's like it's not the slums, but it's got a similar vibe. Like I wouldn't say they're poor, but it's like, we got new carpet in the hallways, and then like a week later, it's all grimy and gloomy, and I'm like, oh, this is not good, actually. And then they're like, even an email got sent out by like the landlords, the company owners, I don't know, the people that own the complex, right? And they're like, let's try and keep the hallways nice and clean, please. Didn't work, man. Like I swear, like a week after we got the fresh carpet, it then became dirty again, and that kind of sucked. And like my friends say it's not a nice place either. I hadn't paid too much attention to it, But I was like, yeah, maybe it's not the best, but it is very affordable, and I like that. And like I said, I like the location, but like, the surrounding environs are not great. So I don't know. I think it is impossible to get a place that is both affordable and nice. And my friend, she was like, guys, I found this place. All we have to pay is utilities. So it'll be like $66 for each of us a month, 3 bed, 3 bath in this nice place. I'm like, that's impossible. That's impossible, friend. That is not real. She's like, no, yeah, it's real, whatever. Mm-mm, it was not real. I knew it wasn't real. I said, this is too good to be true. Paying just utilities for a place this nice. And then once we take the tour, I say, how much is the rent? He says 2,100. I'm like, okay, so she was just lying to me the whole time or something. I don't actually know. I don't think she was lying to me. But I was like, I just don't understand how how she got to that conclusion to where we only pay the utilities. I was like, that's not how it works. That's literally just not how rents and renting works. You don't just pay the utilities. Like I would be surprised, right? Like if we walked in there and he said, "Oh, you only have to pay the utilities," I'd be like, "Sweet, lock it in. That's great." But I don't know why she said all you have to pay is utilities and then no rent. But then once we take the tour, he says rent's 2,100, which would be 700 for each of us plus the 250 of utilities. I'm like, okay, so why the flip was she telling me we just had to pay utilities? And like she wouldn't back down on that. I was trying to get her to explain it. Anyway, that was Monday. Tuesday, after work, I played some Helldivers and then finished my lunch from yesterday. After that, I practiced piano and then I played a little more Helldivers before practicing guitar. My friend got us a tour for a really nice place this Saturday, and I think it's too good to be true, but I guess we'll see. I also think I've decided where to go in my life now. While that's not technically a huge deal, or wait, while that is technically a huge deal, it's not the safest option, nor is it very thought out, but it's purposeful, but it's purpose, which is all I really need. And then the quote is, dang, is that really it? Because it's like, yeah, like this whole, like throughout the entire chronicle so far, you've just been assuming you are watching it, because I know that like literally only two people watch this. So it's like when I say you, I want to be referring to like a large audience, but I know it's pretty much two people. Anyway, I say you as in the greater collective, as if more people watch this. But like for the entire, since the start of the Chronicle, you've been watching me struggle to find a purpose, what to do with my life, and now I have decided. But really, I've only decided for the next 2 years. And even though I have decided, I'm not sure that it's the best option, or even if it will work, right? Because being a session musician, that does not just happen overnight, right? Um, so yeah, it's not the most secure option, but it's what I'm gonna do and gonna try. What does that look like? I don't even have a clue. Maybe I'll go do some open mics. No idea. Whew. But yeah, that's what happened on Tuesday. And like I said, yeah, that place, it was too good to be true. We didn't just pay utilities. I don't know what the heck she was on. Um, Wednesday, today after work, I went to the gym and I was going to do my usual calisthenic workout, but I couldn't tell what was going on in the room that I usually do it in. But then I saw that there was a bench open, so I decided to do chest and back with weights, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that my max bench has gone up significantly since I quit doing weights. I also tried a new recipe for dinner today, although it's a little embarrassing. And then the quote is, "What did they think from the other side of the glass?" Yeah, so I went to the gym, and the room that I usually do it in, there was like a bench that was like at a degree angle. I saw like three people in there, and like one of them was like using the little blocks, and then one of them wasn't, one was on the floor. I was like, there's too many people in this room. I'm going over here. And the bench was open, which is a rarity. The bench is rarely open. So I did a chest and back workout with weights. And yeah, my max bench has gone up a lot. I'm not going to say how much it is because I'm not proud of it yet. It's not enough. But it was a really good workout. I think maybe I could put some more weight on next time. Um, I still want to be able to get back into doing what I was doing before I quit doing the gym to focus on KU, which is my usual calisthenic workout. Maybe I'll try that tomorrow. But I don't know. I always wake up feeling awful, as a usual adult does. So when I wake up, I think, oh my gosh, I do not want to go to the gym today. And then I go about my day. I go to work. I get my caffeine in me, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Yeah, let's go to the gym. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I like skipping the gym and then just playing sports with my friends. But the thing is that requires a friend available, which is not always possible. Um, yeah, and that was Wednesday. Like I said, the recipe, I ain't gonna talk about it because it makes me feel silly and childish. The food that I cooked and eated. But it's fine. And then the quote, what do they think from the other side of the glass? That day, Wednesday, these preppy little high school looking high schoolers, they all took a big tour at the factory, which I work in. And I saw them. They all looked young and preppy. They had their collared shirts, their ties tucked into their pants, whatever. Uh, and I wonder, like, do they actually like think about the people that they're seeing in the factory, right? Like, do they look at me or my coworkers, and do they think, man, what did they do to end up here? You know what I'm saying? Like, do they look down on us, those preppy high school kids? Like, are they thinking, man, I wouldn't want to work here. This place sucks, or like it looks like it does. I don't know. It's not a bad company. It's not the best company, but it's also not the worst company. That's why I say it's not a bad company. There are definitely worse companies to work for, worse warehouses to work in. Yeah, it's not the worst. But like, do they think that? Do they know that? Do they look down on us in the factory from the other side of the glass? Because like I said, it's a big glass wall that they stare at us like we're zoo animals. So yeah, I think about that a lot. I wonder if my coworkers do. I want to ask them, but I don't know if they do either. Thursday. This will be the longest entry to date. Oh yeah, I've got very dramatic with this. Even though it is past my bedtime and I should be asleep, it's late in the evening, yet I'm not tired. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I feel like my body and mind could go on for at least several hours. I highly suspect that it's because of the creatine, especially because I remembered to take it again, and I can't help but wonder whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. Is it a curse or merely a double edged sword? I could test this, and I have to an extent, but hard and sound logic tells me that it's completely pointless. My body and mind need sleep. I can't simply not sleep or just sleep for a few hours. Or can I? I'm tempted to push it and see how far it goes. Even if logic says it'll fail, how am I supposed to know my limits if I never find them? Enough of that though. After work, I stopped by the World Market because I heard from my coworkers that they still have the astronaut pens that my friend had told me about probably a year ago at this point, and I'd wanted one ever since. The astronaut pens! I got them! Check it out. Ta-da! I don't know if this webcam can focus very well. Yeah, so it's just they're little astronaut pens. It's a pen, and it's got an astronaut on it. Oh, check it out. Check out the best part. They light up. That's why I wanted it, because I was like, oh my gosh, astronaut pen? And then they were like, oh, it lights up, and I was like, whoa, it lights up. Yeah, so they're just fun little things I got from the World Market. Um, Pretty cool place. It was a lot of fun to look around in. But yeah, that very dramatic entry was because remember how I talked about the whole thing where I'm not getting tired in the evening. Pretty sure it's because of the creatine. It feels weird. Because it's like I feel like I need to sleep less, and I feel like my sleep is better, and that just sounds good. But like it just sounds too good to be true. Like how am I sleeping for 5, 6, 7 hours and still living or do like having a full day? You know what I'm saying? Like that just doesn't make sense. I notice my eyes they get dry. That's probably the strongest like side effect that I noticed. Like it really doesn't feel like I'm that tired, mentally or physically, which is I mean really good. But my eyes get dry and that annoys me. I have eye drops. It's just they're really hard to put in, because they're eye drops and you gotta like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Um, yeah. So I can't ignore that because it's like usually 10 p.m. I'm dead tired, right? Like I mean, you guys, if you've been watching the Chronicle, you know that just in the past I've just been tired and tired and tired all day, all day, all day, every night. But then I get to this evening and I'm like, let's do some things. Let's keep being productive. All the way up until, now it's 11:13 and I'm recording this. Still got to make lunch for tomorrow. I could do a little extra practice on piano, but I'll probably do that later in the week. Um, yeah, like I just feel like I can do more, right? Which is good. It's good all around. Um, but yeah, I'm like, can I really just like sleep for 7 hours a day and then be okay? I usually sleep for like 10 hours on the weekend. So it's like I guess if my greater, I've been wondering this too, is your circadian rhythm is that a daily thing? Like how long actually is that rhythm, right? Because is my body like okay, we'll sleep for 7 hours on these days, 10 hours on these days, and that evens it out. Is that how the circadian rhythm works, or is it shorter? Is it longer? Is it like monthly? Like I have no idea. But yeah, that's what I was thinking about on Thursday. Friday, in quotes, because it was written at 12:18 a.m. After work, I was planning to go to the gym, but then I took a bunch of leftover Chinese food from the company lunch home, and I didn't want it to spoil, so I skipped the gym. But I did go and laminate my Friday Night Funkin' posters, and they turned out pretty good. Except one of them just barely went in slanted. So there's a very small part of it that sticks out of the laminate. But it's okay. I also went on a brief bike ride, but it was too dark at that point and my bike light was dead. And the quote is, dystopian fiction is too believable. Um, yeah, so company lunch, Chinese food, there was a bunch of extra, I took some home. I took 4 boxes home, I've eaten 3 of them, and I threw away one of them because I was like, this is just kind of gross now. So that's all good. That fed me for pretty much the whole weekend. Um, yes, I laminated the posters. They're not in my room. They are in the living room because they're really big and I'm pretty much out of wall space. I don't want to put anything right here because I have my door open most of the time. So anything right there wouldn't really be seen. I could move the hats. Yeah, but I don't know. I like them where they are. So I just put them in the living room for now. What else that day? Oh yeah, I wanted to go on a bike ride, but it was too dark and my light was dead. I did bike around for a little bit. I was going through a park, but the park was like super dark. So I turned around, I biked around the city a little bit. It was brighter, a little bit of fun. And then dystopian fiction is too believable. So I listened to a dramatized version of George Orwell's 1984. Really good. And then I listened to The Roar, which is another dystopian fiction. And like as I'm listening to these, I'm like, guys, dystopian fiction is too believable, right? It's just too believable. And like I was like getting just barely a little scared. I was like, this could be real. Like, I mean, okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna get a little bit political right now, which I don't want to do. But like with the whole Epstein files, Trump was like, he was like, oh, we're gonna release them, blah blah blah, and then his secretary of whatever was like, I have the files on my desk, right? We're gonna release them, and then he gets elected, and they say, no files. So it's very obvious that our government has no issue at all, just blatantly lying to us. And that's what they were doing in 1984, was they would brainwash people until they didn't have memory. They would brainwash them until they couldn't remember that yesterday they had changed the amount of rations in whatever. And I was like, dystopian fiction is too believable. Like, I hate that this could be real. And in The Roar, it was people living up. The rich people. Their city was on stilts, and the poor people below them would live in floodwater in the darkness of the shadow cast by the city that was up here, right? And they would live in floodwater and mold, and they would scrape the mold off the factory walls, give it coloring and flavor, and then they would feed that to the poor people to keep them alive. And I'm like that's of course going way too far. Same with like the 1984 brainwashing people, but it's like whenever our we can just very plainly and clearly see our government lying to us, and like that's just clear to see. It's like it's not does not fill me with hope and optimism, um, and that's that. Saturday. Today was a disaster for my stomach again, just like it was last Saturday. I woke up nauseous and tried a couple Tums, but it didn't help. I made a smoothie, but that didn't help much either. I ended up taking the apartment tour a little nauseous, and afterwards I felt well enough to try and eat some of the fried rice, which was leftover Chinese food. Um, and after that, I felt like I was good, but I wanted to have one more spoonful to make sure that I could last the entire Renaissance Festival. And while I was chewing it, my friend texted me, and then I threw up everything. Yeah, so that's a whole lot to unpack. But you guys know that I have a stomach problem. Well, I also have a friend that makes me nauseous. And not in a fun romantic way. It's in a not in like a ooh butterflies in a kind of way. It's like a don't touch me, I'm gonna vomit kind of way. And that's a whole lot to unpack. It's very complicated. I'm not entirely sure why it happens, but like usually texting them, thinking about them, being around them makes me really nauseous. So then I was eating my last spoonful of rice, and then she texts me, and I respond to it, and then I feel like I could throw up, and then I go to the toilet and I throw up all the food I had had that day, which was just the smoothie and the rice. Um, so that kind of ruined the festival a little bit for me because I was like tired. I was because like I literally no food in my body. All the food that I had that day was gone. And my friend noticed, and she was like, "Hey, are you okay?" And of course, I lied and told her yes because I'm not gonna say no. And then my friends were like, "When you had fun," I was like, "Yes." I'm not gonna lie and say, or wait, no, I lied and said yes because I'm not gonna tell the truth and say no because if they said, "Did you have fun today?" and I said no, then it's just a bummer. So like I'm going to lie even to myself and say yes, I had fun. Like it wasn't 100% fun, but it was more fun than not. Going there and being there. But yeah, it was fun. Is my official statement on the matter. Um, But yeah, I'd never thrown up from that before, so that was interesting. But yeah, once like I had eaten that spoonful and she had texted me, I was like, "Man, I'm gonna vomit." I probably could have held it down, but that just feels like prolonging my suffering. That feels like dying from drowning when you could just die from a bullet. You know what I'm saying? Might as well just get it over with. Um, and then that leads us to today. Today, dang, what did I do? I woke up. I think what did I do? Dang. I know I didn't eat for a little while, which is probably what I should have done like yesterday. Uh, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have taken the antacid. I think the Tums might have messed with it yesterday. What I did was I was said, okay, I wake up. I'm not gonna eat until I'm hungry, right? Or hungry, right? Because I don't know if I've said it. I must have said this before. But hunger is a very specific feeling. I know what hunger feels like, and I know that I have not felt hungry in 2 years. Um, anyway, so I said I'm not going to eat until my stomach says, okay, I can eat now. So I think I played a little bit of Helldivers or something. Or maybe I played Hades too. Um, yeah, but so I said I'm not going to eat until I'm hungry. So I did. And then once I ate, I think I played games like pretty much all day. And I texted my friend and I was like, hey, do you want to hang out? They left me on, I think it would technically be delivered for several hours because they later texted me saying, sorry, I didn't get the notification, which is, it's fine, that happens. Unless they were lying, but I'm sure they weren't. Or maybe they were? I don't think they were. I don't know. Anyway, um, so they texted me, I was like, sorry, I didn't get your notification. I'm like, that's fine. And they texted me to hang out, and we did. It was great. But like, I was kind of planning my day like I wasn't gonna hang out, just because like just in case as like a backup. So then I ended up like not going grocery shopping. So like I kind of low key did nothing productive today, other than like practice piano, which is good because I got four now. But yeah, so we hang out. That was fun. And that was pretty much yeah. It's 11 p.m. now. I got there at 6:30, and I left at like 10. So that was kind of like the second half of my day, pretty much. Because like I said, I slept for like 10 hours, so I didn't start doing things like one or two. Um, but yeah, not a bad day. It's kind of crazy to think like that I can relax now, because now that I technically have the whole overarching goal sorted, there's of course like there's still work to do on it for sure. But it's like, is it gonna be like, is it gonna feel the same when I was in KU? Like, am I gonna be able to let myself relax again and enjoy my life? Hopefully. I've been kind of doing that. I've been doing that with like a sense of like, kind of like apprehension and hesitance, where I'm like, can I really enjoy, or is there nothing I can do or not? Because like October 1st, right, which is in like 2 or 3, maybe 4 days, depending on if this month has the 31st. I don't know. Um, yeah, I'm like, can I really relax right now? I think I probably will. I'll just take it day by day, and then I'll start taking action, and then I won't feel bad about anything. Because like even once I do get admitted and submit all the enrollment stuff, I'll have to, and then like of course the class schedule probably won't come out until a month or two before the semester starts, which is going to be like late summer, early fall. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of work to be done on that, but I think I can pretty much coast for now. I can hopefully get a nice place with my friends. Um, yeah, not that this place isn't nice, but it's not the nicest. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think it's gonna be a good time. I think I'm gonna enjoy myself, and I'm gonna let myself enjoy myself because like for the past year living here in the apartment, I've been I've constantly had that hanging over me, where I'm like I'm not doing with my life and I'm really unhappy about it. But now I am doing something and I am happy about it. So I think it's gonna be good. There is this song by the Astronomers. I think it's called "Good Life." And then like that one lyric from that song plays in my head, where it's like, "Oh, it's gonna be a good, good life," whoa. Something like that. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I will see you all next time. Later.